And I got my homeboy Pete Frank with me. And we letting everybody know who got a dream. Yo, stay focused. Keep moving forward. It's on the way. Keep that dream alive. If you got a dream, don't look to the left, nor the right. Let's go.
Your fate is in Jesus. Completion is here before you even begin. Dreaming big of my life in the future. Already knowing that it's not far. Having the passion to work towards Jesus. I'm gonna keep my faith and swagger going hard. Don't do the right. Just look straight. You don't have to fear no.
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. I am your host, Dr. Yolanda, and I'm telling you, this Thursday, I am so excited about my special guest that we are going to have speaking with us tonight. Her name is Vera Thomas. Yes, Miss Vera Thomas, a powerful woman of God. I mean, she truly walks in her purpose to help everyone every day in life. So without further ado, before we get into our conversation with Miss Vera Thomas, I'm going to ask you to continue to bring in some people you know to this show. Share out this broadcast, tag a friend, tag a brother, tag a sister, tag a cousin, because we have some great stuff that's going to be talked about tonight. So again, please share it out, and I'll give you about 30 more seconds to do so, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show, where you will hear stories from people who have experienced hell on earth and have walked past hell to share their stories. You will also hear what they are doing now and how their businesses, nonprofits, and ministries were birthed from their past trauma. So let's empower the world, one story at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Yolanda Jerry.
Welcome back. As I mentioned earlier, I am Dr. Yolanda Jerry, and you are tuning in to the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. Again, tonight, our special guest is none other than Miss Vera Thomas. Miss Vera Thomas is a life coach, a speaker, a trainer, mediator, and poet. She is also the producer of a weekly podcast radio show, The Vera Thomas Show. She has worked with companies, nonprofits, organizations, schools, and churches, customizing and delivering training and leadership programs. She works with youth and also adults. She impacts everyone with customized programs, helping companies, individuals, and families to examine attitudes and behaviors that impact the workplace and the families. Coordinated the effort to change systemic attitudes and behaviors towards fathers in family court, child support, and also children's services. Vera is available for companies who want to transform their teams and individuals who want to transform their lives. And that's who we have this evening, Miss Vera Thomas. I'm going to go ahead and bring her onto the screen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Amen. So thank you so much for joining this evening. I am so excited to hear about what you're going to be talking about, what we're going to be talking about, and the things that you're going to be sharing with us this evening. So thanks again for being my special guest today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm excited about this.
I am too.
Oh my gosh. So look, I mean, I know I've known you. You've had the opportunity to be featured, at the Level Up Summit, participate at the Success Women's Conference, attending that conference as well, where I had the opportunity to meet you. But I want this tonight is about you, and I want people to know what you do to help companies, nonprofits, and other people in the world, around the world, and let them know that what you do. But before we get into that, Vera, I actually want to talk a little bit about, let's go all the way back is what I say to people. Let's go way back, and I usually like to get to know who it is. And some people like to know who the person is before they blossom into this big name person that people know. So I want to know, who is Vera? So tell us where you're from originally, where you currently reside, and just tell us a little bit about your childhood, if that's okay.
All right. Well, I was born in South Carolina. However, I was raised in Ohio. And one of the reasons why I do what I do, particularly with youth and with families, is because I was one of those kids that had no confidence, no self-esteem. I was bullied and ridiculed and made fun of. I was told things like, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're fat, you're ugly, you're nothing, you'll never be anything.
Wow.
I remember walking behind a group of guys, one of which I had a crush on. They didn't know I was behind them. And he said, man, did you know Vera liked you? And he said, that big, fat, ugly girl. Oh, tears just ran down my face. I ran home to my mother crying. Nobody likes me. Everybody thinks I'm fat and ugly. And my mother told me the story about the ugly duckling. Now, at the time that she told me the story, it made me feel better. But then years later, I thought about it, and it's like, gee, my mom thinks I'm ugly too. And then I read a book called The Magic of Believing. And that book literally changed my life. It talked about acting the way that you want to be. And if you want confidence, act like you have it and speak it into existence. And so I would literally fall asleep at night saying, I'm confident, I'm confident, I'm confident. Words matter. And so being able to speak those things, and then, speaking things into existence is just absolutely critical. And so growing up with that kind of no confidence and no self-esteem, there are so many children out here that are suffering from the same. And it bothers me when I may compliment a parent and say, oh, she's so cute. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, well, they're so bad.
Wow.
Keep saying that, okay? Keep saying that. And guess what?
They're going to be bad.
They're going to be bad. Exactly. So that's why I do what I do. I graduated. It took me 10 years to get my undergrad degree because I became a single parent when my son was 6 months old. I left my husband because he attacked me in front of my son when my son was 3 months. And at that point, I was not going to raise a child in that kind of environment. So often we hear parents say, well, I stayed in the relationship because of the kids, when in actuality, we're damaging our kids even more when we're in a non-loving, contentious, negative environment. And
that's powerful, Vera. Say that again. That is so powerful, because a lot of people, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but so many people think they need to stay in a relationship, to always force things to make things work, but not realizing that they are actually damaging and making things worse for their children.
Absolutely. And people stay in those relationships, I understand, out of fear, out of economic concerns. But when we put our children first, then the other things, they'll come. But I could not. I knew I am not raising a child in this environment. And I can honestly say my son is one of the most positive people I know. It's because the things that I worked at on myself to build confidence and self-esteem are the very same things that I tried to share and instill in his life. And again, all of that brings me back to working with parents and their children, because it's important. Now,
right.
where jobs and employment is concerned, that's always been, I started working with companies and what have you, because having worked in the workplace, having seen the attitudes and behaviors of coworkers and leaders, it's just very important to look at the attitudes and behaviors that are even in the workplace. I remember doing a training with this company, and there are 3 basic things in a company that can destroy morale and everything else: the agitator, the saboteur, and the gossiper.
Wow. Say that again. Say that again.
The agitator, the person that throws stones and then hides behind the cloak, the saboteur, who does everything in their power to sabotage whatever efforts are being made, and then the gossiper, the person that's running around the office, running their mouths and talking kind of all this stuff. Those things can destroy a work environment.
Wow.
And I remember working. Rita says, "Wow, Lord, hey, Rita." And so I remember working with this one company, and there was just you could walk. I walked into that place, and you could feel the friction in the air. You could feel it in the air. And it was one employee that was wreaking havoc on the entire place. And so I gave them some tools for them to, take ownership of their behaviors, but to allow her to look at her behaviors. And one of the things I want to share with parents and coworkers and relationships, you don't want to attack the person. You want to deal with the behavior.
Yes.
So often, we want to attack the person and talk about them and tell them how bad they are and all. No, talk about the behavior.
Right.
And so I was able to get the company, the other coworkers, to address her behavior when she was doing things that just was not good for the company. As a result of that work, it got too hot in the kitchen for her. So she left. She actually left the company, and it changed the atmosphere. It changed the atmosphere.
Wow. It's so powerful to even hearing you speak about, the family piece, and also speaking about, even the things that happen in the workplace and in the business. Now, I kind of want to rewind back a little bit to when you were talking about childhood, because I want to go back to that just for a few moments. We're not going to spend much time on it, but you were talking about how you were being bullied. Now, my daughter, she was bullied in middle school, and a lot of times bullies will bully you because they're jealous, or you stop, they're selfish and just want you to be their friend and nobody else's friend. Or, they're trying to make themselves feel good. And it could possibly be because somebody has bullied them. So in order for them to take their power back, they feel like they have to do something to somebody else. So do you feel or believe that's the reason why you were being attacked?
I feel, because my bullying, it was not only with peers, but adults as well. And hurt people.
Right.
And I feel the adults that may have imposed that kind of attitude and behavior towards me was because they grew up not having the nurturing and the love and all the kinds of things that they needed as well. I have a program, an anti-bullying program that I've worked with kids with, and I have them write out their feelings and talk about their feelings. There's the bully, there's the victim, and then there's the bystander. And so that person that stands by and watches those things. So how do we empower them to stand up for those and to speak up for those? And one of the quotes by Eleanor Roosevelt, that helped me tremendously. And she said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your permission." And so one of the things, I was substitute teaching at a school here in Atlanta when I first got here. And it was with first and second graders, and little girls coming to me, "They're talking about me. They're doing this to me." And my first question was, "Well, is what they're saying true?" And they would say, "No." I said, "Well, you know what? No one can make you feel any kind of way without your permission. And then I started having them speak life into themselves. Speak life into themselves. But oftentimes, kids, I found this is one of the reasons why I work with adults, with parents, as well as their kids, because I had these youth programs that I was doing with kids, helping to lift them up, build their confidence and their self-esteem. And many of them were going right into homes and environments that weren't lifting them up, weren't edifying them. And
Right.
that's why it's so important not only to work with the child, but with the parent as well.
And that's good, because sometimes, even when working with parents, some of the parents don't even realize what they're doing, right? Because that's what they grew up in, the type of environment they grew up in. So they think that's normal behavior.
Exactly.
So you have to show them that it's not normal behavior
Exactly.
in order to be able to love and, love on their children and show them a better way.
Absolutely. Awareness precedes change. And once we become aware, we can do better. And that's why one of the exercises that I have is called behavior misconceptions. And these are a litany of things that we look at, like being defensive, like blaming blaming others and not accepting responsibility. And I'm guilty. I was guilty of that when, after my ex-husband and I left, after we split, and I was talking to a church member of mine when I was in Los Angeles, and I kept, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for her, my life wouldn't be this way. And she looked at me and said, no, Vera, if it wasn't for you and the choices that you've made, your life wouldn't be that way.
That's
so
good.
Understanding, and I mean, at first when she said it, of course, I get defensive and I'm thinking, nah, that's not true, but it is. We make choices, and we have to accept responsibility for the choices that we make.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. And I say that because, I also was a person that was always, blaming, but at the same time, it's just like, I made a choice, being a survivor of domestic violence, I made the choice to stay in that situation. I made the choice to draw it out. I made the choice to stay for the wrong reasons, right? As we go back and talk about staying because of the children, but not realizing that we're hurting them in the long run. So I do agree with that. We have to own our own stuff.
Yes, we do.
Hold ourselves accountable in order to know that we have to seek the help that we need in order to learn how to do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm just, look, I'm learning so much new stuff about you. I thought I knew you already, right? So, knowing that, you're doing this work with the youth, and you're doing this work with the adults, and also doing things with nonprofits and companies, which area do you think you are doing more work in? You feel like, this is where I need to be. Is it equal, or do you feel like you are drawn more to helping the children or drawn more to helping the adults?
Well, you know what? I've been in this field doing this work for 40 years.
Wow.
And I've, working with companies, it's rewarding to see a company change, see attitudes and behaviors change. But it's rewarding knowing that I've been able to reach and touch the lives of parents and their kids. And I know, as a speaker trainer, focus, being able to focus on one thing when you can do so many other things. But my heart is with making a difference in children's lives and parents, because right now our kids are our future. Right. And if we're not lifting them and encouraging them and motivating them, then we're messing up our future. And
that's
so
right.
It's just important that we raise healthy children. I had one of my shows, I had an 8-year-old, 11-year-old, 13-year-old, and 18-year-old entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And yes, entrepreneurs. And I attribute that to their mother. 3 of them were from the same family, and the mother, she's known as a mompreneur. And so lifting her kids, giving them ideas of things that they can do, even at an early age, to earn income. You know, I started working at the age of 11, so I kind of understand that. But I just enjoy the rewards of making a difference in families' lives.
Right. And I appreciate that, you know, because some people think it's a, you know, they look at people with issues and say, I don't want to deal with that problem. I don't want to deal with the issue. I'm just going to, you know, what happens if my house stays in my house, I'm going to stick to myself. You know, I'm not getting nobody's business. But sometimes you mentioned the word bystander. We can't be bystanders. Sometimes people need help. So thank you so much, Vera, for just doing what you do. And we're going to get a little bit more time. I'm gonna start digging now. I'm gonna start digging a little bit deeper, you know, into your story, because I know there's other things about you that some people may not know besides the bullying, you know, which led to you still doing what you do today. So I want to uncover, should I say, a little bit more about that. But right now, I want to go ahead and tune into our first commercial spot with one of our first sponsors. And, you know, without them, I don't believe I would be able to do this show, because they, of course, they make the show look great. You know, they pour into the show, and I'm just grateful for them. So you all hang tight and we'll be right back.
Hey guys, I am Rita M. Green, owner of Go Fig Co., a boutique digital marketing and project management firm. We specialize in email marketing, social media campaigns and management, website design, graphic design, email marketing, Dubsado setup, and more. Administrative tasks especially. We are here to take the hassle out of your hustle and just to get things done, period. So if you're in need of another set of hands, a second pair of eyes, or a fourth or a fifth or a sixth, we are here to assist you with all of your needs. Again, I'm Rita M. Green, owner of Go Fig Co., and we would love to serve you, your business, and your brand. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Go Fig. Go is spelled GEAUXFIG. You can also see us online at www.gofig.com. Check out what we have to say, and also check out our blog where all of our articles that we post online are located. Plus, you can see our portfolio of completed works. We'd love for you to check those out as well. If you'd like to check with me, if you'd like to connect with me personally, I am Rita M. Green on LinkedIn. I hope you have a fantastic day. Go win the day. Go for the gold. And bye-bye.
And look, that is Go Fig Co. Rita Green is the CEO and founder of this amazing company / business. And I'm going to toot my horn because she is the one that makes things happen behind the scenes. Look, you asked who created this banner for my show. That is the company right there. Vera.
Awesome.
So look, somebody, you need to go ahead and hit up Go Fig Co. because they will make you go. How about that?
Well, I will be contacting her. Trust me. Definitely.
Good stuff. So look, I want to, you talked about bullying, but I want to talk about another instance in your life where you've experienced some trauma, that kind of led you to, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. See your windows, see your life, which this show is about tonight. So let's talk about that. Share with us a little bit more about some other experience that you've had in life where it led you to where you are today.
Well, there were a lot of things. And when I'm the oldest of 4, and I have 2 sisters and a brother. Both my sisters have lost their battle to cancer. But growing up, I felt different. I really felt like the black sheep of the family and didn't know why. And so my mom, at the age of 10, she tells me that my father, that I've been calling father, was actually not my dad. And so at 10 years old, that was a traumatic experience. And so all the questions, who is my dad? Where's my dad? I want to meet my dad and all this stuff. And my mother was the type of person, she taught us never say anything bad about a person. If you're going to say anything, if you can't say anything good, don't say anything at all.
Right.
So she even took that in terms of telling me about my dad. She told me that he was an electrician, he was intelligent, he served in the military, and that he was an alcoholic, and that's why she left him. And she left him when I was an infant.
Wow.
And so when I graduated from high school, I actually went to South Carolina to try to find my dad. While I was there, I went to my mother's family, and they kept promising me, we're going to take you to see your dad. We're going to take you. Well, before they did, they introduced me to a friend of theirs. We went on a date. He raped me, and I ended up leaving immediately and coming back to Ohio.
Wow. Wow, Vera. Wait, just wait a minute. I mean, you just hit me with two back to back. It's like you didn't know who your dad, you didn't learn who your dad really was until you were 10. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And then when you graduated, you turn around and go look for your dad. But in the process of doing that, you met a friend and you end up being raped?
Yes.
Wow. That is crazy. Oh my God.
And so I immediately came back home. I didn't meet my dad. My mother died 5 years later. She had cancer. She was 43. So I went back to South Carolina. This time, my best friend and I went straight to the area where my father was from, to find that he died the year I was looking for him.
Oh my. Oh, Jesus. Wow.
So I have learned for every setback, you bounce back quickly.
Yeah.
You know, just try to bounce back as quickly as you can. And understand, you know, and I just thank God for God. I thank God for faith. I thank God for his guidance and direction. And when I listen to him, I'm okay. But when I go on my own and try to do things on my own, you know, like the day, to be honest with you, the day I got married, I heard this still small voice that said, you should not be doing this.
What?
The day I got married. Wow. The church is full of people. You know, my ex-husband and I wrote all the music for our wedding. We got birds chirping in the ceiling, and I had 10 bridesmaids. And so it's like, oh my God, I'm hearing this now. You know, but I was disobedient and went ahead and got married. I probably could have avoided, but then again, I probably would not have my son had I not gotten married. And he's the joy of my life. You know, he's 37. I have 8 grandbabies.
Oh, wow.
3 of which came into the relationship with his wife. And then he had 2 girls and then a set of twins. And I have another grandson from a prior relationship.
Wow. Well, your son was a blessing in disguise.
Yes, he is.
No matter what trauma we go through, there's always a blessing, even in the trauma. I said,
absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
So, Vera, did you find yourself, going through that, not knowing your dad, going through the rape and, even hearing the voices of telling you not to get married and those different things? How did you even process and maneuver through all that? Because it's like trauma after trauma after trauma. And it's just like, okay, so when did you decide, okay, this is enough? I can't deal with, you ever get to a point where you was like, I can't do this no more, God? Like, did you ever question, like, God, did you ever, I know I've questioned him a couple of times when we shouldn't. Like, did you ever question him, or did you just say, you know what, help me? What did you do to try to recover from every part of that, your experiences? How did you try to recover from that? Or how did you recover? Well,
as a child, I would say, God, why was I born? What is my purpose? And I would ask that question over and over and over again. And one of the jobs that I got, they required that we go to a 3-day seminar. I was about 24, 25. And the facilitator, she was so bubbly and so enthusiastic, and something just started stirring up in my belly. And I went up to her and I said, I want to do what you do. Wow. And she became my mentor. And that's what got me on the track to self-development, and then being able to, you can't teach what you don't know.
Right.
And you can't give what you don't have. And so I had to do that self-healing before I could help anybody else.
Right.
And so working with Becky and, getting involved in all these trainees programs and getting educated in those areas, joining Toastmasters and all of that kind of stuff helped me to realize. And also because I grew up in the church, and so church was more important than anything else.
Right.
So I really didn't realize my own academic potential until I started college. And that's when I excelled and graduated with honors. But I was an average student in high school, low B, high C average. But in college, that's where I excelled. And that's when I realized, Vera, you hear this stuff, you're stupid, dumb, fat, ugly, all that stuff. You're not all of that. You are one of God's children. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I am the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath.
Yes.
So I had to talk to myself and listen. And there are well over 100 scriptures on confidence and self-esteem. And that's one of the things that I share in my workshops and trainings and coaching.
Right. So affirmations, right? Giving yourself self-love. That's what I call it, and also reminding you of who you are.
Yes.
And also, we're just relying on God's word, the scripture.
Yes.
I always say, for everything that you go through in life, there's an answer in the Bible.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That is so true. And an example of that, whenever I have to make a major decision, I go to the word. And when I was, after my ex-husband and I split, he left and actually moved to Atlanta. I stayed in California a few years after. But the day I got ready to leave Los Angeles, I was offered a job the day. And I told them, they begged me, and I was like, I'll call you back. I got my Bible and I said, Lord, show me through your word what I should do. Whatever you tell me, that I will do. Wow. I opened the Bible and it said, go home to thy friends and tell them what great things the Lord has done and how he's had compassion upon you. Wow. All of that was true. And so I moved back to Ohio. Now, I did not want to be in Ohio because it's cold. I don't like it. And so my plan was only to be there for no more than 2 years. However, every single time I went to the word about leaving, every single time, he said, stay where you are. For 25 years. He did not release me from Ohio until both of my sisters were diagnosed with cancer at the same time in 2011. I was going back and forth between Ohio and Kentucky. And this one time when I came back from Kentucky, I'm sitting on my couch. I get my Bible and I said, Lord, is it time? Is it time? And when I opened the Bible on both sides of the page, it said, go. Now,
my Lord.
The thing is, I did not trust that, right? Because for 25 years, he's kept me here, right? Now and I actually said, so you're telling me I can go now? But I didn't trust that. So a few days later, I'm sitting on my bed and I said, Lord, I know you said I could go, but can you please confirm that this is what I am to do? And when I opened the Bible, it said, pack your bags.
Wow. If that ain't like a direct hit of telling you what to do.
I'm telling you, there are some people that get visions. There are some people that have dreams. There are some people that hear the still small voice. I hear the still small voice at times, right. But most of the time it's like directly from the word.
Right.
Directly.
And it's crazy because God knows exactly what you need. And
When you need
we
it.
always know, they say he is always
On time.
on time.
Yeah.
Always. It ain't when we want him to be on time. It's on time when he says it's on time. And so,
Absolutely.
sometimes, I hear people say, well, I don't know where to go at in the Bible to find my answer. Sometimes, and I sit here and I say, you know what? I said, the way technology is nowadays, not everybody has technology, but if you have access to technology, Google is your best friend. You can type in, help in the Bible. That's it. And guess what? You gonna have
all these
all
scriptures.
the
Yes,
scriptures that will
yes,
pop up
yes,
in
yes,
your face. You know what I mean?
yes, yes.
And I'm just like, that's all you gotta do.
It is.
And then guess what? I copy it all, paste it on a Word document, and then I print it. You know what I mean? That's like the easiest and fastest way to go. But just like you said, or it could just be right there in your lap. You asking God for,
Yes.
you ask him for guidance or help or whatever, and then you open that book and it'll lead you right there.
Right. And see, his word, he said he would be a light unto your feet and a lamp unto your path. And so before I just open the Bible to whatever it is, I pray. And it's like, Lord, and I speak his words back to him, because he said, my word does not return to me void.
That's
so
right.
If I'm speaking his word back to him, I know he's going to give me the answers that I need. And I trust that. And he says, if you seek me, you will find me if you seek me with your whole heart. And so even when I find the 3 words, peace, be still.
Yes.
Those 3 words, when you are in a contentious situation or you're in a confused situation, you can speak those words. And I'm telling you that peace will come. That peace will come.
It will.
It
All
will.
you gotta do is be still.
That's still.
The biggest part. You want peace, but you need to also put some action behind it.
Yes.
Be still.
And know that I am God.
That's right.
Yes.
That is absolutely right. Well, I thank you so much. You're pouring into me. I'm learning about you. We are all learning about you, including the people that are watching right now, just learning everything about you. And I thank you for that. And of course, those of you that are just now tuning into the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show, thank you for tuning in. Please share this broadcast out. Somebody needs to hear what Miss Vera Thomas has talked about today. So if you're catching the replay, please go back and watch from the beginning all the way up to the end, because she is dropping some knowledge. She's sharing her heart, but she's also sharing wisdom, God's wisdom with us today. So Vera, before we get into, because I know now we're about to, again, we're talking about see your life, see your window, see your life. And so we're going to get into why that topic is so important. But before we do that, I want to go into another commercial break.
Okay.
To give honor where it's due when it comes to another one of our sponsors for today's show. And that is none other than Naturally For Me, Shea Butter LLC. And we'll be right back.
All right.
And again, today's show is sponsored by Naturally For Me, Shea Butter LLC. That company is owned and founded by Paula T. Farr. We also call her the Shea Queen. She also has a promo for this month and this month only. Type in hashtag home free to get 20% off any of her products on her website. And look, I'm a customer because I love my shea butter. She got sugar scrubs. She has all kinds of things. So again, If you're interested in some natural products, again, Naturally for Me Shea Butter LLC is where you go. 20% off, #home free. All right, Vera. So let's talk about see your windows, see your life. Now, look, before we talk about that, I know that you have something special for us. So I want you to go ahead and give it to us, and then we'll go into that afterward. Talk about see your windows, see your life. But I know you got something special that you want to share with some of us today.
Well, I want to share one of the reasons that I wrote See Your Windows, See Your Life is because of all the stuff I went through. And I do have a radio podcast as well, and it's on the Vera Thomas Show. I would love for you to like that show. Yolanda's going to be on my show as well, and I'm excited about that. And, it's on Facebook. It's also on YouTube, along with some of the poetry that I have is also on YouTube. So See Your Windows, See Your Life was actually a poem that I wrote for myself so that I could, so it would resonate with me, so I could understand. And so it goes, if I were to say to you, close your eyes and tell me how many windows you have in your living room, with your eyes open, you can see those windows, right?
Right.
If you can see your windows, you can see your life. See the windows in any room with eyes open wide or shut tight. See the quality of your living by what you do or say. Do you see happiness or gloom in the life you live today? Are the clouds of despair the only thing you see? Do you wonder who cares to come and rescue me? If you can see your windows, you can see your life. You can change clouds to sunshine by doing what you feel is right. See the rainbows in your life, fleeting moments in your day. See the beauty you can find in what you do or say. We are what we think about every day. We live by faith, fear, or doubt, believing life is but one way. We can think ourselves into happiness, misery, or pain by seeing what we stand to lose or seeing what we stand to gain. If you can see your windows, you can see your life. Awareness is the key. You have the control. You can see your life bright. And so,
yay, that was good, Vera. I love it. Oh, I love that poem. That just blessed me. Thank you.
Thank you. To God be the glory. Let me say that.
Amen.
And that poem is a book by itself. It's just that poem. But I have a workbook that goes with it so that we can kind of look through each of those phrases and look at ourselves and look at, well, when are the times when I'm seeing gloom? And how do I turn that around? How do I change it? And so that's what See Your Windows, See Your Life. I wrote it again to uplift and encourage myself. And now I share it with the world.
That's amazing. Amazing. I love that poem. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So, knowing that, your poem was birthed because of everything that you have gone through, and watching, your whole poem manifest, and now you had this workbook that's gone with it. Where is it now going? What's left in the future for Vera?
Well, I want to continue to impact families and children. I had an after-school program that I did from 2004 until I left Ohio. I left December of 2011, hired someone to wrap it up for me in 2012. So I want to continue to do that. I want to speak to the world. I want to coach and motivate, encourage. My purpose in life is to uplift, encourage, motivate, and inspire and educate. That's why I was born. I finally found my purpose.
Yay! And that's amazing. Let me tell you, when you actually find and walk in your purpose, you can only go up from there. You can only go up from there, especially if you have God in the midst. That is important. When you have God in the midst and you're giving him all the glory in the midst of it all, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I also ask if anybody has any questions for Vera, please go ahead and drop them so that way we can go ahead and get your questions answered. If you have any questions about her story or have any questions about what she does, have any questions about how she, maneuvers through, working with children and also working with adults and nonprofits and businesses. But my question to you, Vera, is what do you have coming up next?
Well, I am going to be a power up speaker, and so I'm excited
Yay!
about that.
Whoop, whoop.
And I have a training that I'm going to be doing online, and the focus is things that parents do that can destroy a child's self-esteem. And so and that's an intro to a total package where I will work with a group or I will work with individual families, and they'll have that option. That training is going to be towards the end of July, and I'll have advertisement and stuff on it. So I'm working, that's one of the things. But Power Up, as you know, being involved with Kern, and I saw that she was here, she gives you that opportunity for exposure. And so I'm spending all this time with the Power Up to do all those things. And then right after Power Up, I will have this training online.
Well, good stuff. I'm excited. I'm part of the Power Up Summit team. Karen Cherry is also one of my coaches, and I will tell you, she's a great woman of God,
Awesome.
and she loves to
She's
see
awesome.
everybody win. So yes, powerupsummit.com. Make sure you register. The summit is free, but you can also, get the VIP package as well, where you get to sit in some of the rooms with like Lisa Nichols and Chrisette Michelle and Kim Coles. We have some big names. Tamika Scott from Escape. We have a lot of people that are going to be featured and be speaking at the Power Up Summit. So make sure that you register. Again, it's free, and anytime I can get some free nuggets, I'm gonna tune in.
Yes.
Will take time to pour a lot of knowledge and wisdom into us. So, Vera, if you could speak to, I want to say that child, and then we'll move to an adult as well. If you could speak to that child, what advice would you give to that child that's going through what you've been through? What would you say to them to speak life into them?
I would tell them, you're beautiful, you're loving, you're kind. God has given you so much, but you got to believe that it's in you. And then I would have them do affirmations. That's a part of my program. I do an affirmations contest with the kids. And then I create the affirmations in their favorite colors so that they can, and they're laminated so that they can have them always. So what I would say to a young child is just know, and I would also let them know, just because somebody says this about you does not make it true. And so what I suggest is that if someone calls you stupid, you come back with, I'm smart. If someone calls you dumb, come back with, I'm smart. And so get them to start speaking those things into existence themselves.
That's good. I like that, Vera. Getting them to speak life back into themselves, and don't wait for somebody else to speak it to them. That is good. I love that. Now, what would you say to that adult, who don't realize or recognize the things that they're doing, and how can they be a better, parent, or how could they be a better person even in the workplace?
Well, the first thing I do is ask, what is it that you wish you had been told as a child? That's a very revealing question. And so I've had parents say things like, I wish I had been told you're special. I wish I had been told I love you. I wish I had been given hugs. If an adult or a parent has not had those experiences within themselves, then we need to look at helping them to understand the attitudes and behaviors that they bring into parenting, and then give them the tools for them to make those changes so that they can be a better parent and be more loving towards themselves. In the workplace, there's just so many dynamics going on in the workplace, and being able to help people understand the attitudes and behaviors in the workplace that truly impact even where leadership is concerned, and as well as the employees. So I would just give them talk. I need to talk to them, find out more about them, and then offer the tools that are related to what those issues are.
That's good information. I hope that you all have listened to what Miss Vera has said, the wisdom and knowledge that she has just dropped, the words of encouragement that she has given you. I'm telling you, this lady, I look up to her as well since I've met her. There's a lot. My dad always say you can learn from your elders. You can learn from those that are older than you, and you are never too young or too old to learn. I always say that I'm a person that learns every day. I don't matter how old I get, there's always something somebody else can teach you because I don't know everything.
And you're either green and growing or ripe and rotten. Now, I've seen 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds that are ripe and rotten. I've seen 60, 70, 80, 90-year-olds that are green and growing. And it is a continuous, life is a learning process at every age.
Yes, that's true. Very true. Well, we do have one question, Vera. It is from Frank Henderson.
Okay.
And he says, Dr. Vera, what is your ultimate goal? So what's your ultimate goal at this point?
My ultimate goal, I want to just speak and make a difference in people's lives. So my ultimate goal is to give back to society, give back to our communities, give back to our children and our parents, and even in the workplace. I want to continue this work, and I want to do it because it's my passion. And speaking, being able to, speak to groups and organizations and what have you, that's my goal. That's what I want to do.
Good stuff. Always, I say we should always, it's not always about making the money. Yes, money's good. We got bills, we got to get paid. But, I always believe that when you are pouring out and being a blessing to someone, even if it's not financially, your blessings will come back. It will come back to you. And a lot of times people don't understand them blessings will come back financially.
Yes.
So you didn't pour out financially. So I would just appreciate you just wanting to continue to do the work in the community, continue just to pour into the children. I did have the opportunity to watch one of your videos on YouTube where you were actually talking to the children and teaching them, and it was amazing. So those of you who have not followed Vera, make sure that you're following her on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune into her show. If you want to get in touch with her, her contact information is there. Her email is also there, instillingGreatness1117 at gmail.com. And you can follow her on YouTube, Vera Thomas, and you can also follow her Facebook, The Vera Thomas Show. So thank you, Vera, so much for being a guest on today's show. And before we leave today, because I'm nosy, I see that beautiful stuff that's on your wall back there. So if you could you share with us what meaning does that have to you to have, that art on your wall behind you?
Words matter. And words matter. And so I have all these things on my wall because they're reminders. They are reminders of where I'm at, what I am, and who I am, and whose I am. And which is most important.
That's right.
And so, words matter. And if we need to, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Mm-hmm. And so this represents life.
You know what? And you say this represents life. Look, I see that tree, right? The tree of life is what I see. The tree of life.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
The tree of life. And I see those butterflies. Look, I got a butterfly on my wrist. I have a butterfly on my banner, and I think the good thing about a butterfly, it was once a caterpillar, but it blossomed and went through this traumatic
Yes.
transformation to become this beautiful thing. And it's amazing to see, once it is out there just flying out in the world and just putting a smile on someone's face.
Yes, and that's another reason why I love butterflies. And I remember after my mother died, a few years after she died, I was at a retreat, and I was walking past on this little bridge, and this butterfly passed me. And I said, "Come back, butterfly." And that butterfly came back and did like this in front of me.
Wow. Wow.
And so I when I think of my mother, even when I think of my sisters, because I had a butterfly, I was at a red light, and this butterfly came and just sat on my windshield, just sat there.
Wow.
So butterflies have a great meaning for me.
They do. They really do. They really do. For me too. I mean, my butterfly was birthed from, my daddy leaving this world and going on to a better place, to have eternal life. So, and not only that, it represents me as a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. I was that caterpillar, but I'm a butterfly blossoming and doing great things in this world.
Yes.
For the glory of God. So
yes,
and
ma'am. So was I. Clearly from my story, I was a caterpillar.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Vera, for being my special guest today. It's just been truly an honor to just sit here and just take in everything that you've shared with us and sharing your heart. Sometimes people have a hard time sharing their heart, but I just thank you because you blessed me, but I'm sure you blessed many people too as well. And I want to say thank you to the people that have tuned in today. We had Paula and Rita Green and Marie Shepard and Frank Henderson, LaRon Lewis, Patty Fields, Dr. Sylvia. I mean, the list goes on and on. Dr. Joe Harris, Stacy Tyler, Cher Graham, Pamela Michelle Tate, Sonia Smith, and the list goes on. I'm just thankful that these individuals took time to tune into the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show, because they clearly could have been doing something else, but they felt they were led to tune in today, and hopefully they were able to receive everything that you have imparted, out into the atmosphere. So again, thank you so much. And Timothy Felton says, transforming lives. All right.
Thank you.
Again, everyone, if you're just tuning in, #replay. I'm going to say that. Go back and watch the replay and watch the show from the beginning. I thank you for tuning in tonight. Tune in next week. We have another amazing guest. Our guest next week is none other than Mr. Lee Wright. And he's going to be sharing some great information with us. The Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show happens every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you have time on Thursday evenings, or you don't have anything to do, or you just want to block out an hour of time on your calendar, be sure to tune in with us on the Dr. Yolanda Jerry Show. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you again, Vera, for being my
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was an honor. I felt honored to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we will see you all next Thursday. Thank you again, and God bless.
Bye-bye.